All right, let's go to Wednesday. More action. Ohio, Toledo in the Glass Bowl. Toledo, 2.5-point home favorites, 44.5 the total in this game. This is a pretty good matchup, too. We look at the standings, and Ohio is one of the teams trying to get to the MAC championship game and certainly can further their potential to be there with a victory here against Toledo in this game. Toledo 4-2. They're not. I don't think they're completely out, but they need a miracle. They need to win out, and they need a lot of help. And they need everyone in front of them to lose multiple games. So it's like 2% chance, really, for Toledo, but I don't think they're going to get there. But they can play spoiler and try to spoil Ohio's hopes of making the conference championship game. Ohio's only conference loss was against Miami 30-20 on the road. Since then, they have not only won, they've covered every game. 31-point blowout win against Buffalo, a 41-0 shutout win against Kent State, 35-10 last. And I took the L with Eastern Michigan. You know, I can't resist Chris Creighton as an underdog, but boy, that was too much Ohio for Eastern Michigan last week, the 35-10 win. What they're doing is, look, they're good balance in this offense. They've got, obviously, Tyus running the ball. They've got a dual-threat quarterback in Parker Navarro, who's been good throwing it, good running with the ball. He's a good runner as well from the quarterback position for Ohio. We'll see how he fares here against this Toledo defense. A Toledo defense that, when they've been tested, they haven't always passed the test. I mean, you look at the Bowling Green game, for instance, they gave up 41 points. They had to escape past Eastern Michigan. In a game, they gave up 28 points. Throw out the game last week against Central Michigan because Central Michigan is depleted at quarterback. I look at this as, look, Ohio +3. I was interested in Ohio I did grab Ohio +3 down to 2.5. I don't think Toledo's home field either is one of those home fields you have to be fearful of. Just ask Bowling Green. Bowling Green went in there and kicked their tail. Bowling Green went in there and beat Toledo in the Glass Bowl 41-26. It's not that, home field that, years ago they rarely ever lost there. They've had some home losses against better teams, and Ohio's equipped, I think, to give Toledo's still somewhat shaky defense some problems. Meanwhile, their own offense is pretty solid, but when I see Tucker Gleason and the way he's played at times in the last few games, he does have 3 interceptions in the last 2 games. He's made some mistakes. Anyway, at +3, I took Ohio down to 2.5 right now. Still think Ohio could win this game outright here. What do you think, Connor? Ohio, Toledo.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton of trust with this Toledo team, even at home, even as a short favorite. I don't really want to back them. Ohio, I think the defense has played well the last 2 or 3 weeks, and even go back to that game on the road where they lost to Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio jumped on that game quick. It was 16-0 at halftime, and they tried to get back in it. And the one thing with this defense is, it's the turnovers. Like, Navarro's had his problems. It's had a while. He's been back. He's back. I had his yards where it was easy. It was only 48.5. He had 100. I think if he gets around the 15 carries, and it's under 60, I think you take it. I don't love him as a passer. Both these quarterbacks, Gleason really either. He can run it. This game should be good and tight. And one thing, we'll get to Eastern Michigan in a minute. It was the turnovers in that game. I mean, they had to play a lot cleaner, and they did not. No. Snyder was awful. Their fumbles too. I mean, it was just bad. And they took a 7-0 lead out of the chute there. So everything kind of fell apart. But I like how Ohio's been playing. They've been decent on the road. I think if you get the 3, I'd look their way as well. I've had no confidence in really wanting to back Toledo, even at home here. So, Ohio.
And Ohio, by the way, they can running the football is important. They're certainly better in that regard, and they should be able to. They've been okay, but not great. Toledo against the run, and they do have better. Again, this is a defensive dog. Again, we're talking about Ohio does have better numbers against the run and the pass, and a higher ranking defensively in both categories than Toledo. And you're getting
this game's got a little wind and rain. Nothing crazy, some light rain, but wind, around 12, 13. So a little bit of weather. That's just what you want, right? Yeah. Midweek MAC game, Babano, this time of year. Come on, exactly. Gotta love that.
Yeah, rain and wind for both games, including the next one we're going to talk about, Buffalo and Eastern Michigan. And that's why the totals have been hit. Well, the total hasn't adjusted much in Buffalo, Eastern Michigan, but it has in this game, 51 all the way down to 44.5. Huge move on the total here with Ohio and Toledo.